In this video today, I'm going to show you how we veganized a family favorite recipe of mine. This is German potato salad. This is something my Oma used to make. She would make it with real bacon and beef broth and Salad Supreme seasoning, which is not vegan. So I'm going to show you how we veganized it. For this recipe, you will need a large cucumber. We used an English cucumber. You can use about 6 to 8 red potatoes. Of course, you can always make a larger batch and double this, or use half as much more to make a bigger batch. You'll need some vegetable base better than bouillon, some red wine vinegar, and some vegetable oil, which I forgot to show here. Old Bay seasoning. The Old Bay has a lot of ingredients that are in the Salad Supreme without the cheese that is in Salad Supreme seasoning. This here is some vegan Parmesan cheese. I'm going to show you how I made that. Some bacon bits and salt and pepper. The vegan Parmesan is made with 3 simple ingredients. The first one being roasted cashews. I only had raw cashews, so I just roasted them in a cast iron pan until they were nice and brown. I added them to a food processor with a little bit of salt and some nutritional yeast. I use about 50% nutritional yeast and 50% ground cashews. So the more you do this, the more you know what that kind of looks like. I think I added a little more nutritional yeast than I usually do, but it is still delicious. Once you get it all nice and blended, you've got this wonderful nutty Parmesan cheese. Then you'll want to get your potatoes going. We cook ours in the Instant Pot. We've got the little steaming trivet at the bottom, and you put it on the pressure cook setting, turn off, keep warm, and set it for, I would say, 8 minutes. It was a little overcooked this time. You can also add the potatoes to a pot of cold water, bring them to a boil, and let them boil for 10 minutes. While the potatoes are going, we'll prep the cucumber. I peel off some of the skin. I do leave some of it on for texture. You just peel the cucumber into tiny little coin-like slices. Once the potatoes are done cooking and are cooled off enough to touch but are still warm, you peel them. At this point, you should be able to just use a paring knife and pull the skin off. Once the potatoes are all peeled, you will thinly slice them. Like I said earlier, I did overcook these potatoes a little bit, so they were a little harder to slice. A lot of times they will actually stay together a little better than they did this time, but it all turns out to taste the same, regardless of how it looks. Then I'll mix about a teaspoon of the better than bouillon vegetable base into a half of cup of warm water, and then pour it over the top of the potato cucumber mixture. You do want to do this when the potatoes are still warm because they'll really draw in that liquid. Then you'll carefully toss the potatoes and cucumber mixture so that the cucumbers are kind of evenly spread out amongst the potatoes. And you just want to kind of do this carefully so you don't break up the potatoes any more than they already are. Then I'll just add maybe about a tablespoon, maybe a little more of my vegan Parmesan. Then I'll add about a teaspoon of Old Bay seasoning. And maybe about a half a teaspoon of salt and maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of cracked black pepper. And I added about a tablespoon of vegetable oil. This is just what my Oma does. I don't even know if you really need the oil in there. I might actually try it without it next time. And then you've got your red wine vinegar. Now this is what really makes it. I would say maybe a 1/4 to a 1/2 cup of red wine vinegar. We actually went back and added more after we let it sit for a little while and tasted it. And that's actually a great memory of mine growing up, as Oma would always have all the kids come in and taste the potato salad and tell her what it needed. And then you've got the bacon bits. So I don't know how much I added here, maybe a little less than a 1/4 cup. And one thing I went back and added later was garlic powder. I completely forgot to even include that in the ingredient list, but I did sprinkle a teaspoon or 2 of garlic powder over the top. And it is really going to be tempting to want to eat this right away, but you really have to let it refrigerate for an hour at least, overnight if possible, because all those flavors are really going to combine and it will be delicious. We had this for dinner the next day and it is so good. I really hope you give this recipe a try. If you do, let me know down below if you liked it. Alright, thanks for watching.